So this is a kind of training update from the last video, obviously about a month on or so. So had Christmas and typically over that period ate too much. I actually had a week off over the kind of Christmas period, and that wasn't actually due to not wanting to train. It was more due to the fact that I just got ill and thought that if I was going out and spending more time outside and fatiguing myself, it wasn't actually going to do me any favours. So had a week off over that period, and then since January's hit, I've got back into the swing of things, and training has kind of not gone up another level, but I'd say I'm getting much more consistent training and more of the stuff that I think I should be doing. I'm spending a lot less time on road and a lot more time on trails, getting gradually increasing the distance of my running at weekends, plus like overall volume is going up steadily as well. And something else that I've been implementing is uphill intervals. So I've been using a couple of local hills to do that. One of the main problems I'm finding with that is that one, I can't seem to find any hills that are actually long enough and are continuous uphills. So the two that I've been using kind of go up a little bit, then they flatten out, then they go up a little bit more. And then the second one is finding similar but on trail. So I know quite a few hills that are on road, but finding something similar on trail is proving to be much more difficult. But it's just one of those problems that we'll have to kind of overcome. I think, if you look at the UTS 100, obviously the big thing, apart from the distance, is the elevation, and this is something I talked about in my last video. And that is, finding enough elevation isn't that easy. I do live in a fairly hilly area, but compared to Snowdonia, it's absolutely nothing on that. So I am looking at getting away for a couple of away days to Downs, the South and North Downs, to try and get a few more hills in my legs. Also got a trip down to Snowdon on the cards, potentially one to the Brecon Beacons as well, just to kind of get used to getting up and down hills and kind of get used to working on a bit more elevation, because I think I don't want to go into the day having not done enough elevation over my training period. But from what I've read and what I've looked at before, I think the main thing is just making sure that I'm fit enough, and I am feeling a lot fitter, and week on week I am building on that, and things are going in the right direction. Like I said before, my volume is going up, the longer runs are getting gradually longer, so I think come May time I'll be in a good spot to be able to take on the UTS 100. So my training has changed a little bit. I think before I was doing about 5 days running and a strength training session. I actually reduced that because I found that I was just getting a little bit too fatigued and I wasn't recovering well enough. Also, my kind of thought process was I'm doing like one big race rather than doing several days back to back. So it's better that I kind of just look at having a longer day where I can kind of push the distance up on that and then take a bit more recovery than trying to run on fatigued legs the whole time. So currently I've got a shorter run with the running club that I do on a Monday. I have got a strength training day on Tuesday, and later in this video I will go through what I'm doing for my strength training. Wednesday is either the uphill intervals or is kind of like a long run on trails. Thursday's a rest day. Friday is another long run on trails or the interval day, depending on what I did on Wednesday. Saturday's off. Sunday is the long run. So today's actually Wednesday. Went and did the hill intervals today, which were pretty hard. It does mean that I'm doing 4 days back to back, and it does mean that when I'm doing that Wednesday day, not only am I doing it having had 3 days training, but I'm doing it right after a strength training day, which isn't ideal. But at the same time, so far it's been okay. So rest of this video I'm going to take you through exactly what I've been doing for strength training and kind of like my rationale behind that, and I will try and get some more content of me out running or other elements of my training. Although having said that, it is fairly difficult because with the weather at the moment, I never know whether I'm going to get caught in the rain or you know, even in the snow. Who knows what's going to happen in the next few months. I've recently got some new kit as well, so that is something that I will work through, but the rest of the video will be on strength training. So this workout actually has very little to do with running. Now, my job is a personal trainer, and as part of that is an important part for me to continually progress. And I'm part of a mentorship this year with a guy called Tom Crudgington down in body development in Bath. And as part of a day I spent down there, we kind of put this workout together. And you know, the idea for me is just to continually progress this and see how far I can take it. So this strength training is almost completely separate to my running in a way, although there is always going to be some crossover. So the club work is something that I've been working on a little bit. Again, has nothing to do with running, and actually has a lot to do with Iranian wrestling, although it's a couple of bits of kit that I really enjoy using. And if anything, this part of my workout is more on developing skill with these implements. Obviously, it warms me up a little bit, have a little bit of grip, core, shoulder mobility, and obviously, as you can see, I'm kind of working into a squat to start with. And then the first movement that I've been using is this double kettlebell clean and press. Now, with everything I'm doing, the idea is over time to progress it. And this one I've kind of taken up from, I think, 12 kilos. This is a pair of 16 kilos that I'm using here. And I actually got into the 20s this week, which was really good. Nice to be able to get there. But you have a couple of different elements to this. There's obviously the swing and the rotation through the body, and the press overhead and lifting the leg off the floor just means you get a little bit of balance work in there and a little bit of work through the core as well. Now, with all of these movements, they're all timed. So I'm either doing 40 seconds of work with 20 seconds rest, which is what I'm doing for that clean and press, and also the press ups, which you'll see in a bit. Or as I'm doing with this chin up, is I'm doing 40 seconds of work and 120 seconds of rest. Now, the chin up in particular is looking at control. So we're looking at holding at the top for a bit and then a slow movement down. My chin up is, you know, something that I'm very much developing, and it does make it a lot harder with the tempo. So I'm doing that for as long as I can, basically. And then when I can't get a decent amount of reps out in that 40 seconds, I'm switching to the lat pull down instead. And here the big emphasis is the isometric, so the pause at the bottom of the movement where I'm trying to hold. I'm trying to progress these holds, so hold for longer with each rep. However, when you're fatiguing, your sense of time tends to speed up a little bit, as you might have seen there. Now we're on to my press up. So this is a press with a rotation, whereas it's actually a press with a hand lift and then rotation. So trying to hold there, rotate through the upper body, and then use momentum to come back down and almost use a powerful movement to get back up. So this is one that is I'm working for 40 seconds, resting for 20 seconds, and trying to get 4 sets of that. So everything we're doing is for 4 sets. And this one's quite tough. A lot of this stuff is quite difficult. But you know, I have seen a lot of progression over time, and it is a very time effective workout that involves a lot. You know, I get a press in, upper body press, I get an upper body pull. Now I'm doing my squat variation, and I also get kind of a hinge movement with that clean and press as well. So all boxes get ticked. This is the last movement, and probably the one that has the most impact upon my running, which is a double kettlebell squat. You can see me here with 220 kilos. My big aim is to be able to get up to 224 kilos and do that for the 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. That is still a bit of a way off, though. But yeah, that is my strength work.